Hi guys, and welcome to video number 2 of how to structure an essay. Now that we have completed the overview, we are going to begin to look at the introduction, the paragraphs, and the conclusion in more detail. This video is about the introduction. In order to do this, we are going to use this sample question. Most societies have homeless people. Some people think that the best way to help them is to give them money. To what extent do you agree? Okay, now we're going to use this question to plan and then to write an introduction. During the planning stage, it is not important what type of English you use, what quality, what words, if the grammar is correct or not. It's just for planning. It needs to be done quickly. And the important part is that you get ideas. The important part is that you develop a structure. The vocabulary and the grammar are not important during the planning stage. They are important, very important, during the writing stage. But first we'll look at the planning stage, then the writing stage. Now these are the 4 components to the introduction, just like we discussed in the overview. 1 or 2 sentences to introduce the topic, your thesis statement, explanation or elaboration, closing or connecting. These 4 components need to go into your introduction, and each one has a box during the planning stage. You should remember from the overview. And now we're going to see how we use those boxes to plan our introduction. So as you can see, I have 4 boxes. 1 box for each one of these points. The first box is for the introduction sentences, the second box is for the thesis statement, the third box is for my explanation or elaboration of my thesis statement, and the 4th box is to close or connect to the first paragraph. Okay, now remember the question. Most societies have homeless people. Some people think that the best way to help is to give them money. To what extent do you agree? Now, this first box is to introduce the topic, as I'm supposed to do here in this first point. So in order to introduce the topic, I've said homelessness still exists all over the world and is a problem that we need to solve. This is my way to introduce the topic. The topic is about homelessness. I have not answered the question. I have not given any examples, any opinions. There's no ideas. I've just introduced the topic by saying homelessness still exists and it is still a problem. Now, next is your thesis statement. Direct answer to the question. The question is, to what extent do you agree that giving money to homeless people is the best way to help them? I've said, giving money may help for one day. However, real solutions need to address the cause of homelessness, that is. That's my answer to the question. I was asked in this question, do I think that giving money to the homeless is the best way to help them? Now I've said here, giving money may help for one day, however real solutions need to address the cause. In other words, no, it is not the best way to help them because it doesn't address the cause, it's not a real solution. Point number 3 is to elaborate or explain. In other words, summarize your ideas. Why is that your answer? Explain your answer. My answer was, giving money may help for a day, but real solutions need to address the cause, as you can see here. Now, to explain this, I'm going to use job opportunities and public housing. This is the reason or the examples for my thesis statement. Real solutions need to address the cause. To explain that, I've said job opportunities and public housing. These are real solutions. These address the cause. Okay, the last point is closing or connecting. 1 or 2 sentences to close or to connect your introduction to the first paragraph. And I've said, public needs to pressure the government to help forgotten people. Forgotten people are the homelessness because they have been forgotten by society. So this is a way of closing my introduction. It's not an example. It's not an idea. It doesn't answer the question. It just closes the introduction. The public needs to pressure the government to help forgotten people. Okay. Now we will see how this how these 4 boxes become your introduction. And here it is. As you can see here, where you can see the black letters, this is the same as the black letters here, the bold, okay? Just so you can see where the structure is. So this first part, or this first sentence, is your introduction sentence. Then you have your thesis statement. Then you have your explanation or elaboration. Then you have your closing sentence. Now this is a full introduction, written with correct English and correct grammar, taken from this planning stage. Okay? So, despite the advances in modern technology, homelessness still exists throughout the world, and humanity must begin to solve this problem. Some people believe that giving homeless people money is the best way to help. However, I disagree. Giving money may help for one day, however, real solutions must address the causes of homelessness. Homeless people need to be provided with jobs, as well as public housing until they can afford to pay for the housing themselves. This requires the public to pressure the government, as homeless people are often forgotten during political discussions. There's your introduction, okay? Just to be clear, I've introduced the topic. Despite the advances in modern technology, homelessness still exists throughout the world, and humanity must begin to solve this problem. This is an introduction to the topic. I have not answered the question, just introduced the topic. Here's my answer to the question in my thesis statement. Some people believe that giving homeless people money is the best way to help. However, I disagree. I disagree. Remember the question asked me, do I agree, or to what extent do I agree? Here I've said, I disagree. In other words, I've given an answer. I've then said, giving money may help for one day, however, real solutions must address the causes of homelessness. That's also part of my thesis statement, because that's why I disagree, and that's what I believe. That's my full, complete answer to the question. Now I want to explain or elaborate, excuse me, why I've said that, why I've given that as my thesis statement. Why do I disagree, and why do I believe that real solutions there must be real solutions to address homelessness? So I've said homeless people need to be provided with jobs as well as public housing until they can afford to pay for the housing themselves. These are real solutions. I've then closed it by saying this requires the public to pressure the government, as homeless people are often forgotten during political conversations or political discussions. Okay guys, that is your introduction. See you in the next video.